Imagine leaving behind everything you have ever known for the possibility of a happily ever after. Your friends, your family, your dreams, and even your country. When I was 18, I ran away from home with my then boyfriend. I packed a few belongings into a small duffel bag, left a few letters behind, and took the first flight to Tijuana, Baja California. My fairy tale ended as the relationship eventually became toxic and emotionally abusive. Let me tell you about that journey, from the sweet beginning to the eventual abuse to the day I left and life after him. Our love story had begun like any other. We met at work, started talking, and quickly realized we had a connection. Soon enough, we were texting from sunrise to sunset. I was sneaking out to see him without my parents knowing. Being with him felt like nothing else mattered. He made me feel beautiful, cherished, and special, and I never thought that would come to an end. Things were going great until he asked me to make a decision that consequently changed everything. He announced to me that he would be moving back to Mexico permanently, and I was given two choices. First, to simply move on. Long distance really wasn't his thing. Or I could go with him and see our love story flourish. I could not imagine saying goodbye to him or our future, so I said yes to moving with him, believing we would make it to the mountain's peak together. Like in every toxic relationship, the honeymoon phase ended. He went from being a kind, sweet man who cared about me to a monster. First came the insults. He would say, "You're not that pretty. You're useless for a woman. You need to lose weight because I deserve a woman with a good body." Sadly, I started to believe this narrative. And because of these beliefs I now had about myself, I accepted his threats as something that I deserved to hear. I didn't question when he said, "If you keep making me angry, I will beat you and no one will care." Instead, I did what I could to keep him happy and keep myself safe. At this point, reaching the pinnacle of the mountain felt like an impossible task. I started to believe that maybe love and happiness just wasn't for me. Because if it was, why was I getting hurt? How did the beautiful summer suddenly become the worst winter the forest has ever seen? And with deep regret, I accepted this new reality of mine, or at least I tried to. I remember spending several late nights writing poems and short stories about how I imagined my life would have been if I had made a different decision. What if I had stayed? What if I had never fallen for him? Or even better, what if we had never met? I eventually tore and tossed these writings because I realized there was no point in searching for answers that simply did not exist. Instead, I decided to explore the question I could find an answer to. What if I leave? I wish I could say I immediately devised my escape plan, but part of me still hoped that this was only a rough patch and that he would learn to love me. It wasn't until he cheated that I decided I had enough. I knew my love was too grand to waste on someone who only gave me insults and infidelities in return. This time, I did come up with a plan. I reached out to my family, begged for forgiveness and a second chance. Once they were on board, I convinced him to take me back to their place because I needed my birth certificate. I had actually forgotten this document when I first left, so he agreed with no hesitation. A few days following that conversation, I found myself in the passenger seat of his car, on his way to my freedom. It was February 15, 2019, that I found my heart trying to escape its ribcage as we neared the driveway of my parents' home. I felt every impact fear could create: the sweating, the difficulty breathing, the shakiness, and the drunken butterflies in my stomach. I still don't know how I physically managed to utter a single word, but once we arrived, I told him the relationship was over. After many tears, I left his car, entered my parents' house, and that was the end of our story. I could stand here and tell you that my life magically changed for the better after that day, but I would be lying. It was really hard. I returned home with 31 cents to my name, a broken relationship with my family, and many painful memories that I could not stop reliving. There was also the agony of being away from the person that I had been waking up to every morning for the past few months. I missed him a lot. But despite the pain I felt in every fiber of my body, I never stopped climbing, even though I was sometimes crawling. But it has been worth it. I am proud to say that I have made it to the mountain's peak, and let me tell you, the view is beautiful from up here. I am now surrounded by my friends, whom I love and cherish. They have filled these past few years with unforgettable memories. I am now a student at José City College, working on my pre-nursing requisites. And lastly, I now have an unmatched love and respect for myself. I will never allow myself to be treated that way ever again. While grateful for who I am now, I sometimes ponder about 18-year-old Stephenie. She had no idea what she had gotten herself into when she decided to take the biggest risk for love. She made many mistakes that caused her lots of pain, but I'm also proud of her because at the end, she conquered the biggest mountain. Thank you.